Good evening. Welcome. Tonight, our bulletin is loaded with new happenings and developing stories with key interviews to give proper perspective to issues on the front line. And the next hour and a half will be in different parts of the country with our lens on the news making the rounds and what life demands on a daily basis. Tonight, we're starting from the State House as President Tinubu receives senators from Kebbi State. Ministers designate, Senate screens and confirms 7 new nominees. Assignment of portfolios on the way. Nigeria's parliament on the lead as Uganda counterparts learn the ropes. Behind the bars, there's a dream that lives beyond stories of a second chance. We also have updates from business with Benny Adams, while Badia Deleye will be giving us the latest from the world of sports. As we say on this shift, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. I'm Yenri John, and this is News Extra. Welcome.
Sokoto Badagry.
Now let's hit the road quickly as President Bola Tinubu has been commended for the commitment demonstrated towards actualization of the Sokoto-Badagry Superhighway. The 3 senators representing Kebbi State came on a thank-you visit to the president at the presidential villa. State House correspondent Musbao Danwahab reports.
Sokoto Badagry Highway construction project is finally leaving the pages of papers to become a reality with its flag off as alternative route to link the north to the southern part of the country. Kebbi State is one of the benefiting states of this highway, which is one of the flagship projects of the Renewed Hope administration. Part of those who understand the prospective benefits of the project are here on a visit to the president. The 3 senators representing Kebbi State, coming along with them are messages from their people to show appreciation to the president for the commencement of a project which had hitherto remained a mirage.
Started, but it was scuttled.
Former governor of Kebbi State, Adamu Alero, now a senator, saw how the project had suffered lethargy over the years.
Successive administration have failed to do it, and the president has taken the bull by the horn by not only unveiling the construction of this road, but also flagging it within a very short period of time. And this is one road that is so important to the entire northern Nigeria because it will reduce the number of hours of traveling from Sokoto to Lagos by just about 6 hours. Now, trailers do spend close to about 2 days with their vehicles, normal vehicle, whether it is Mercedes, Peugeot, or what have you, you spend close to about 16 hours.
The team also commended the president for his initiatives, which they say has improved security situation in parts of the country. But then they appeal for sustenance of the momentum to guarantee proper security for the people.
We need security to be beefed up in that area because this is harvesting period. We don't want farmers to be harassed. We want farmers to have good harvest. As you all know, there is bumper harvest this year. And we don't want a situation where bandits will come and start burning crops. That will be an exercise in futility if it happens.
The president also assured the senators that efforts are on to facilitate timely restoration of power supply to part of the northern state currently experiencing power outage. From the State House, Musbah and Wahab, NTA News.
And from the State House, we head to the National Assembly now, where Senate this Wednesday screened and confirmed 7 ministers appointed last week by President Tinubu. National Assembly correspondent Lamiale reports that the exercise lasted hours as all items on the other paper were stepped down to attend to the constitutional exercise.
Hereby confirmed as a minister of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The 7 ministers screened and confirmed by the Senate, comprising 4 men and 3 women, are Nentawe Yilwada from Plateau State, Muhammad Begari Dingyadi, Sokoto State, Bianca Odinaka Ojuku, Anambra State, Yusuf Abdullahi Atta, Kano State, Idi Mukhtar Meha, Adamawa State, Jumoke Uduole, Lagos State, and Suwaiba Said Ahmed from Jigawa State. They have already been assigned ministries, among which are the newly created Ministry of Livestock Development. They reeled out their credentials and fielded questions that revolve on their areas of assignment during the screening.
The issue of poverty reduction is a wholesome challenge that involves almost everybody. We align with the ideals and aspirations of Mr. President so that together we move this country forward.
Ensuring that missions abroad actually reflect the true magnitude of Nigeria's standing.
I promise to serve this country to the best of my ability. I shall use the experience I have gathered in public service over the years
to create productive jobs through vibrant domestic industry. And I spoke about the need for high-value productive jobs.
We believe that feed and water is livestock. You can have grass where there's no animals, but you can't have animals where there are no grasses.
And I assure you, if confirmed, my drive will be towards actualizing this administration agenda on education.
The screening and confirmation exercise is as provided in Section 147 of the Constitution.
Let me congratulate all the nominees for this elevation by Almighty God, courtesy of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and also pray that God will give them the enablement to continue to put in their best for the upliftment of the citizenry and the benefit of this great country.
By this confirmation, the number of ministers in the cabinet of President Tinubu stands at 47. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
As the saying goes, that to be forewarned is to be forearmed. Lawmakers in the House of Representatives believe this should apply in mitigating flood disasters in Nigeria. To this end, the House has invited the Federal Ministry of Environment, the National Emergency Management Agency, and the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency to brief Parliament on precautionary measures to safeguard lives and property in flood-prone zones across the country. National Assembly correspondent Mitari Igbe brings us all the details.
In view of recent prediction of heavy rainfall in parts of the country, lawmakers are advocating that flood alerts should be followed by proactive mitigation measures by relevant agencies and various tiers of government.
It is crucial that relevant authorities immediately implement strategies, including evacuation plans, provision of relief materials, and ensuring post-flood recovery efforts are coordinated effectively.
Meanwhile, a resolution was passed urging INEC to relocate its local government offices to neutral locations.
The majority of the INEC's local government offices are currently situated within local government headquarters or otherwise. This impedes INEC impartiality as enshrined in Section 6 of the Electoral Act 2022.
The House passed for second reading a bill seeking creation of a federal constituency in Nasarawa State.
To alter the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to carve out Nasarawa Egon Federal Constituency from Akwanga Nasarawa Egon Wamba Federal Constituency and other related matters be read for the second time.
After years of rejection in the 9th Assembly, the bill to prohibit and redress sexual harassment of students in tertiary institutions was passed by the House, now awaiting concurrence in the Senate.
We even introduced in strengthening the bill in the 10th Assembly issues around body shaming. It's no longer okay for you to call someone, oh, that horrible student. It's not. It is considered in this context to be an aberration.
Away from plenary, Speaker Tajuddin Abbas played host to women groups that are relentless in their advocacy for passage of gender bills before Parliament.
By the time you come up with the gender policy through the constitution review, you will have gathered enough women ready to participate in the elections.
We should also demand that for every executive position, where there is a man contesting, the woman should be his partner. When we are talking about Mr. President, let there be a concerted effort to make sure that the vice presidential candidate.
The Speaker assures Nigerian women that the 10th Assembly will make history on gender-related bills. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Nigeria's National Assembly is playing a pivotal role in leading Africa's parliament to effective legislation that will translate to good governance in the continent. This was re-echoed during the takeoff of a 5-day capacity workshop for members of the Ugandan opposition parliament, organized by the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies in Abuja. Muhammad Rabiuali reports.
Nigeria and Uganda have similarities in their parliamentary system of government. This is the third time the Ugandan parliament is visiting Nigeria, and kneels in particular to share ideas and experiences on the parliamentary process. Available data shows that Africa has the ratio of 49.3 points for overall good governance, and of concern is that of Ugandan.
So we are not here to complain like babies. Where there are some challenges, we are supposed to know that we're in Nigeria. And we are aware we're in Nigeria, and we know anything is possible, and we shall fit ourselves within the processes.
Our commitment to ensure the capacity need of parliaments across Africa is no longer in doubt. We cannot get it right as a country or as a continent if democracy is hindered or decimated.
The training, therefore, will explore the role of opposition in promoting good governance and the role of parliament in the budget process.
We must be able to improve in how we operate in parliament and as the opposition specifically. So there's a lot we are learning from here that will help us to become better.
Happy to be here at this training institute. I expect to have a lot of broad knowledge about legislation, budgeting and appropriation.
At the end of the 5-day workshop, members of the Ugandan parliament will go back with a workable solution to improve on the overall governance of their nation. Muhammad Rabiuali, NTA News.
And still in the National Assembly, within the walls of Nigeria's National Assembly in particular, a silent race is always unfolding as legislators debate to shape the nation's fate through laws and approvals. Journalists chase the stories with relentless doggedness, armed with cameras, microphones, and pens. They capture history in real time, bridging the gap between government and the people. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nko in this report captures the intricate role of parliamentary reporters at Nigeria's National Assembly.
Inside the hallowed chambers of the National Assembly, the air is usually thick with anticipation. Legislators debate the nation's future, but behind the scenes, another battle rages.
This is where all journalists covering the activities of the House of Representatives, this is where they stay. When you go in there, you see they have their seats. Every journalist, every media house, their names printed on top of those seats. Now, that is for Nigeria Parliament, which is bicameral. We have 2 media centers. This is for House of Representatives, and then you come along. Now I can show you that of the Senate. Right here is the center, media center for journalists covering the Senate. Like I did say, this is a bicameral legislature. So we have 2 chambers here, and so that is how we have 2 different sections of journalists covering the National Assembly.
In the press gallery, journalists scramble to capture every word, every motion, every heated exchange. Time, however, is their fiercest adversary, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Miss a crucial detail and the public remains in dark. These reporters, it is not just about delivering news, it is a race against the clock, a relentless pursuit of truth at the heart of Nigeria's democracy. Interestingly, this is a terrain I know very well, and the attendant pressure as well. Reporters here move swiftly through the corridors, balancing speed with precision. One wrong move and the story is distorted or entirely gone. Anticipating breaking news and cutting through legislative jargon all happens in real time. Plenary sessions are unpredictable and every second counts. As a National Assembly correspondent, if you are not fast enough, it is already old news. But it is not just about keeping pace with the legislators. Journalists are the watchdog of the parliament. Their eyes and ears trained on the hidden lines and decisions that shape the country.
It's good to be time conscious. You know, one, as a reporter covering the Senate, if you are here early, you will know the breaking stories. One, there are many stories that may not be in the other paper of the day, especially when it comes to point of order, when it comes to especially personal explanation.
Somebody may not regard as a serious journalist may have filed his story and it will be there on the site. People will be reading. And you are still waiting for asking people that came before you, what happened?
It's a normal beat, but it's a complicated beat because you get to understand the language of Parliament.
Security hurdles, restricted engagements, and fierce competition from rival media outlets are daily challenges.
Especially when you meet with the sergeant-at-arms, despite seeing you every day come in here, what they do is to ask for this, ask for that, even when they know you already presented them, and then you still have to maintain your cool while you still deliver justice in your beats.
You have to be there, you have to follow the debates, you have to follow the nuances, the drifts until a resolution is reached.
Despite the exhaustion and chaos, these men and women of the pen profession remain undeterred. No matter how tough it gets, the race continues, day after day, session after session. Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Many thanks, Ignatius. Indeed, being a journalist is a tough job. Let's head to the courtroom now. The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has ordered the federal government to henceforth stop monthly allocations due to the Rivers State from the Consolidated Revenue Fund. Justice Joyce Abdulmalik, in her ruling, restrained the Central Bank of Nigeria from releasing the funds based on a suit filed by factional Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Martin Amahiwole, and members of his faction. The court held that the receipt and disbursement of monthly allocations since January 2024 is a constitutional violation that must not be condoned, citing the presentation of the 2024 budget before a 4-member Rivers House of Assembly as an affront to the Constitution. It therefore stopped the CBN, Accountant General of the Federation, and 2 banks from further allowing Governor Fubara to access money from the Federation account. The plaintiffs had argued that the state government was yet to comply with an earlier court order to represent the 2024 budget to the state parliament. And still in the courtroom, a federal high court in Abuja has adjourned hearing in the money laundering case brought against the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to January 21, 2025. At the resumed hearing, counsel to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Kemi Pinheiro, SEN, said he had 2 witnesses already in court. He said his first application was to formally enter a plea of not guilty on behalf of the defendant, even in his absence, of which the right to plead guilty or not guilty is a right that can be waived by the defendant. Michael Adoyi, who appeared for the defendant, however, kicked against this, saying that the prosecution's application was made contrary to a subsisting order of Justice Emeka Nwite's court. The defendant's counsel noted that the prosecution's application could not be anchored on any of the provisions of the ACJA 2015 that he had cited, as those provisions do not excuse the need for physical presence of the defendant, and urged the courts to refuse the application. Justice Mwite therefore adjourned to 21st January for ruling on the application by the EFCC and for arraignment. Counsel to the defendant had told the court that the issue of arraignment of the defendant was the subject matter of an appeal entered by the defendant at the Supreme Court. He said the court has to wait for the decision of the Supreme Court in the appeal before taking any step for arraignment, so as not to pull the rug of the feet of the Supreme Court. Meanwhile, following recent trends in the field of jurisprudence, necessitating the importance of cooperation and collaboration among judicial divisions around the world, the International Association of Judges is furthering consultations to broaden their membership base. A delegation from the body is in Nigeria to study and appraise the progress made in justice delivery by the Nigerian judiciary.
And its key objective is to safeguard the independence of the judiciary worldwide. So all of its members, to become a member of the IAJ, you must be judicially independent. You must be able to safeguard the independence of the judiciary.
Nigeria is seeking to join the International Association of Judges for the nation to benefit from the cooperation. Away from the judiciary now, let's see other news as Vice President Kashim Shettima says beyond promoting the nation's rich cultural heritage, the Nigerian carnival industry also has enormous potential to drive national unity. He stated this during a meeting with a delegation from the Abuja International Carnival at the presidential villa. The vice president assured that the Nigerian government is positioning the country's carnival industry to tap from the global carnival market, estimated at $5 billion. Vice President Shettima pledged the support of President Tinubu's administration to youth enterprises in the creative industry, saying it has the potential to drive employment and national cohesion.
You can tell with all the different intervention plans that has been put out to the creative. I know one of this is the IDICE fund, which is a $617 million investment for both the digital and creative. And for me, that's a huge investment, and that tells a lot of the commitment of Mr. President to this. And I'm glad that they're here today to see HE, the Vice President, and he has committed to supporting this. And I'm glad that HE also pointed out the potential of the Global Carnival, which currently generates close to $5 billion on a yearly basis. And I think Nigeria can participate and also benefit from that if we develop our own carnival culture.
I understand that to improve the economic situation in Nigeria, to empower the youth, it will bring unity, and also everybody will be happy. You receive us very well. He's very happy that we came, and he's giving us his 200% support.
The Abuja International Carnival delegation commended the Vice President for the support and outlined plans to partner with the Ministry of Arts, Culture and the Creative Economy to revitalize the carnival. In other news, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has appointed Major General Olufemi Olatubosun Oluyede as the acting Chief of Army Staff. Oluyede will serve temporarily, replacing Lieutenant General Taurid Abiodun Lagbaja, who is currently indisposed. Oluyede has an impressive military background, having served as the 56th Commander of the Infantry Corps of the Nigerian Army in Jaji, Kaduna. He has also participated in various operations, including the Economic Community of West African States Monitoring Group, ECOMOG, mission in Liberia, and Operation Hadinkai in the Northeast Theater of Operations. Additionally, he has received numerous honors for his service, including the Corps Medal of Honor and the Chief of Army Staff Commendation Award. He's married with 3 children. This is News Extra. Time for a break. Please stay with us.
It's the Glow Festival of Joy, and it's raining exciting prizes. Oh!
Thank you for staying with us. And the report just reaching us says the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, has successfully restored bulk power supply through its 33 330 kV Ugwaji Upper Transmission Line 1, following the completion of repairs on the vandalized section of the line. With the restoration of the line, the Upper Lafia Transmission Line 2 is now operational, with electricity supply restored to Lafia, Makurdi, Jos, Kaduna, Kano, Bauchi, and Gombe states. As restoration efforts continue, with the engineering team preparing to commence work on the second 330 kV transmission line, TCN says all necessary materials for the repairs are on hand, and work will begin as soon as the site is secured for the safety of its personnel to the affected sections of the vandalized 330 kV transmission line 2. TCN notes that teams of linesmen will re-patrol the 330 kV line 2 to ensure that no other sections are impacted as the repair works progress. Now, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, wants member countries under UNESCO and stakeholders in media and information literacy around the globe to support the country's effort at establishing a UNESCO Category 2 International Media and Information Literacy Institute in Nigeria. The minister stated this through his special assistant, Dr. Sandy Baba, at the ministerial panel session at the 13th edition of the Global Media and Information Literacy Week in the Kingdom of Jordan. The minister outlined the numerous efforts being made by the Nigerian government to advance media and information literacy initiatives in the country and the world. In a statement, Okereke Ifeanyi, the Deputy Director, UNESCO at the Ministry of Information and National Orientation, said the minister reaffirmed that Nigeria was instrumental to the birth of the current celebration of Global Media and Information Literacy Week when it hosted the first edition of the UNESCO Media and Information Global Alliance in 2003, which metamorphosed into GMIL Week, as well as other initiatives, which included the proposed partnership with UNESCO to establish a Category 2 institute at the National Open University of Nigeria, Abuja. It called for the support of member states, UNESCO, and partners to support the efforts of the Nigerian government. Earlier, UNESCO's Assistant Director General, Communication and Information, Dr. Taufik Jalasi, explained that the world currently faces a complex reality where truth coexists side by side with lies and misinformation, and that media and information literacy has been identified as a potent tool to combat misinformation in all its forms. The Nigerian delegation, led by Dr. Sandy Baba, also has, among others, Professor Olufemi Peters, Vice-Chancellor of the National Open University of Nigeria, other academics from the International Media and Information Literacy Institutes, Nigerian delegation to UNESCO, and others. Also, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, says the reform agenda of the Tinubu administration is in full swing and pleaded with the media to project positivity, asserting that Nigeria is on the path of a new era of socio-economic progress, which comes with teething problems. The minister, while playing host to the Executive Council of the Nigerian Guild of Editors, urged the media not to lose guard in the defense of Nigeria's 24 years of unbroken democratic experience. The minister assured the Nigerian Guild of Editors executives, led by its president, Mr. Eze Anaba, that the government of President Bola Tinubu is fully committed to entrenching democratic values, particularly the adherence to the tenets of press freedom. In a statement by the special advisor to the Minister on Media, Rabiu Ibrahim, the minister assured that the federal government will continue to support the media through special interventions to ease the pain associated with their operations, such as providing single-digit loans through the Bank of Industry, even as the need to mitigate the high cost of newsprint as a top priority. Nigeria Guild of Editors President Eze Anaba led the executive on a courtesy visit to inform the minister about the upcoming 20th All Nigeria Editors Conference, scheduled to take place in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State, from November 6 to 9, 2024, with the theme Economic Growth and Development Strategies in a Resource-Rich Country. Elsewhere, Nigerian students have been urged to imbibe the 7 national core values as major obligations expected of patriotic citizens towards nation building. This is contained in a message by the National Orientation Agency as it takes campaign on National Identity Project to some schools in Suleja, Niger State. Kenneth Nanim is our guide.
The reciprocal commitments between the government and the citizens has been codenamed 747 in the National Value Charter. The National Orientation Agency is in Suleja, Niger State to enlighten secondary school students on their obligations towards development of the nation and duties of government towards the citizens, with emphasis on reducing moral decadence through value reorientation.
There are so many societal vices that is making our country not to strive the way we would have wanted it to be. If we can imbibe in them the right morals, the right values, definitely there will be drastic change in what we are seeing today.
God's gift Onyoroka of Government Science College, Suleja, and Zainab Issa of Women Day College, also in Suleja, are amongst the beneficiaries of the program and have pledged to carry on with the campaign.
I have learned how to be a good citizen and how to stay away from moral decadence.
You also avoid drug abuse, either in school or your community.
Be a good citizen by showing respect, discipline, helping others that are in need.
In line with its mandate, the agency is moving around the nooks and crannies of the nation, educating citizens on the need to embrace the National Values Charter. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Let's take a look at security matters now, as the Defense Headquarters has described as false a report alleging the Nigerian Army Military Training Center in Kontagora local government area of Niger State has been taken over by bandits. The Defense Headquarters says no portion of the training area is occupied by bandits and assures that the armed forces is working closely with the Niger State government to improve security in the state. Meanwhile, the former president of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Adams Oshiomhole, has called for a robust discussion on the national minimum wage, fair reward systems and enhanced productivity in Africa. He gave the advice while delivering a lecture at the National Institute for Security Studies in Abuja. Francis Fom was there.
The whole idea of minimum wage is not really...
Discussing labor issues is a familiar terrain for Adams Oshiomhole. And today, another promising moment at the National Institute for Security Studies as he digs deep into the employer and employee relationship. Key policymakers, academics, and security experts gathered, and Adams Oshiomhole, as a seasoned labor leader and former Edo State governor, shares his experience on how fair compensation and reward system are essential not only to boost productivity, but also to scale stability in a society.
If the economy is expanding and the private sector is growing, the manufacturing sector is growing, and you have job-led growth, not jobless growth, because the GDP can be increasing even as your employment numbers are dropping, particularly with modern technology. So you have to consciously create an economy that focuses on those labor-intensive industries, like the textile industry where I work.
As we aim for a more equitable society, understanding the complex relationship between wages, rewards, and productivity is very essential for developing effective policies that support sustainable development in our country.
Director General of the Department of State Services, DSS, in a message, reminded the participants on the need to resort back to covetousness in the conduct of their operations.
I know the enormous investments being committed that I've seen into training. And I want to imbibe and encourage participants particularly that this knowledge that is being shared with each and every one of us this morning, the essence of it is to improve our knowledge and our skill set and competence particularly, so that in the conduct of our operations, in the conduct of our day-to-day activities, it will reflect and manifest.
The lectures series is designed as part of the course modules to be a focal point throughout the 10-month program with the theme for this year, Artificial Intelligence and Emerging Economies in Africa, Challenges and Prospect. Francis from NTA News.
Let's head to the Sunshine State now. The Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, has expressed confidence in the ability of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to conduct a free, fair and credible governorship election in Ondo State. Tony Batire gives details of these and other activities on the forthcoming election.
Ahead of the November 16 governorship election in Ondo State, the Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, an umbrella body of all registered political parties in Nigeria, while reaffirming its trust in the credibility and neutrality of the electoral body, INEC in the state noted that there's no doubt that INEC is fully prepared for the task ahead. While warning political parties and their candidates to play the games by the rules, IPAC urged the electorate to come out en masse and exercise their franchise at the poll.
IPAC equivocally stated that INEC Ondo State, under the watch of the State Resident Electoral Commission, Mrs. Oluwatoyin Babalola, has carried IPAC along in all the Commission's activities.
In Akure, Toyin Batire, NTA News.
Still looking at Ondo State in preparation to the election, we have two candidates participating in the election. Joining us live from Akure via Zoom, the candidate of the Action Democratic Party, ADP, Ayodele Akinodi, and his counterpart, that of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, Bamidele Benson Akimboye. Many thanks for joining us, gentlemen.
Good evening, madam. How are you today?
All right, I'm good. Sure, you're good too. And I would like to begin with the candidate of the Action Democratic Party, ADP, Ayodele Akinodi. The election is very close. How optimistic are you that you'll scare the holders and emerge victorious?
Yeah, good evening.
Go ahead.
Well, I can say that we are fully prepared. But first and foremost, I would like to correct the name. My name is Akinodi Ayodeji, not Ayodele. Ayodeji Emmanuel is my name. And the candidate of the Action Democratic Party, ADP. Well, I think so far so good. We have a lot to do in terms of getting prepared for the election. And we've been on that for so long anyway. And we believe so well that come November 16th, the people will definitely come out to vote for the party, which is Action Democratic Party.
All right, many thanks, Mr. Ayodeji. Sorry about that, by the way. Now to the candidate of the Social Democratic Party, Bamidele Benson Akimboye. Do you think your party has a popularity in your state, and what are your chances of winning this election?
Good evening again, once more, madam. The popularity of my party, I believe, I would say is 80% in this state as of today. And one thing you should know that SDP is a party that is formed by our leader, Kabiyesi Falaye, which we all believe is Southwest Party and the Omodua's party. And this is a party that has led this state before, that has run this state by Olubelua. So we are fully ready and we are popular. And apart from that, what Ondo State people are looking at as of today is not about the party, but about the personality of the governor, about the personality of the person that they're going to pick to be the next governor of Ondo State. Thank you very much.
All right, so back to the candidate of the Action Democratic Party. What strategies have you put in place, your party and you now, in order to ensure that the voters have the right information in order to achieve a free, fair and credible election in Ondo State?
Pardon me, please. I think I can hear that, please.
All right, what strategies has your party put in place to ensure that the candidates have the right information, just so that the election is free, fair, and credible?
And of course, we've been doing this self-education for so long, and already we've been preaching to them, though a lot of them, I mean in the state, are not really happy with the level at which we are right now. But notwithstanding, I always told them that the best way to pour out your mind is through voting. And you can only do that through your PVC, to vote out the government that you are not interested in. And we've been able to sensitize them to do what is needful for their state at this point in time.
All right, thank you very much, the candidate of the ADP. Because of time, let's just quickly get to the candidate of the SDP now as we round up the conversation. I want to find out, are there some lessons your party has learned from the Edo governorship election, which held, just a few weeks back, of course, as you prepare for November 16?
The lesson we've learned is that we, the SDP and the lover of Otuma Bamidele Akingwe, we are ready to stand by our votes. Nobody can mess around with our vote in Ondo State. Everybody is ready, we are all ready. If it's going to take us 2-3 days for us to count the vote, we'll stand by our vote. And we're all coming out in full to change the government of the day. Thank you.
Fantastic. A great way to end the conversation. Many thanks, the candidate of the ADP, Ayodeji Akinodi, and of course, Bamidele Benson Akingwe. Many thanks for being our guest on News Extra. Wishing you the very best.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it and have a good night.
All right. So let's look at other issues now, of course, away from Ondo State. The Judicial Commission of Inquiry set up by Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara to investigate the recent alleged killings and burning of local government offices in the state has officially commenced proceedings. Osinachi Samuel reports that the commission issued summons to 109 individuals, including serving and former council chairmen from the 6 affected local government areas.
The opening session featured testimony from 5 witnesses from Ikwere local government area. One of them, Smiles Azonda, presented video evidence documenting the extent of destruction on the facility, stressing that an engineering consultant was hired by the council to give an estimated cost of rebuilding the structures without requiring a complete teardown. Eziho warned the alleged political interference regarding the case on ground. One of the who said he lives near the council secretariat testified that shortly after the crowd gathered, he heard the sound of an explosion, which was followed by a thick smoke. At the commencement of sitting, the commission chairman, Justice Ibiwingi Minakuri, assured that the exercise, which will be conducted with fairness, will also be thorough.
Over about 14 days or so, we have published invitations calling people that were mentioned in the memoranda that were submitted to us to come forward to defend what had been alleged against them. I want to assure you or to tell you that we are a fact-finding commission. We are not inaugurated to witch hunt anybody. It is a public hearing. Your cooperation is highly solicited.
Proceedings will continue on Thursday, October 31st, where more witnesses and those accused are expected to make presentations, having been summoned through various publications and notices. In Port Harcourt, Osinachi Samuel, NTA News.
The home of peace and tourism is the next stop as discussions at the ongoing program on the domestication of the National Women and Economic Empowerment Policy holding in Jos have underscored the need for policy makers and opinion leaders to give the initiative early support to succeed. It's in this regard that the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, NIPS, with support from Development Research and Project Center, is keen into the policy to make it a reality. Caleb Cochin reports that the domestication of WE policy in 8 states is being supported by the Development Research and Projects Center.
This year's meeting of the Council of Women Affairs is taking place in Jos, with NIPS and Development Research and Project Center in attendance. The program has domesticating the WE policy in Nigeria as its theme. Government, through the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs, in conjunction with women societies, see this initiative as a proactive measure towards placing the Nigerian woman and the less privileged in the society on a higher economic ladder.
So the WE policy is not just about women, but it is about human capital development, and it is about national economic growth. Remember that the Jakarta Declaration states that when women are empowered, it has the potential to drive national development. So it is about national development.
My experience from all the policy we have in the past participated in formulating, we have never had a support or enjoyed a support from a partner that within a short period of time we were able to come up with a draft copy that we are now hoping in the next few days we will convene a meeting to validate, at the verge of validation of that document.
States that are being captured on this phase are those of Kano, Kaduna, Borno, and Akwa Ibom. Others are Cross Rivers, Enugu, and Plateau.
At all the subnational levels and even at the federal level, we need to look at things differently to be able to implement them for the good and advancement of women development.
Actions are already ongoing in Enugu State for domestication of the women economic empowerment policy.
It is the belief of these key players that the WE policy will serve as a catalyst for removing millions of women from poverty, deprivation, hunger, and unemployment. In Jos, Caleb Gochin, NTA News.
Another break is due. Please remain tuned. Thank you for staying with us. A House of Representatives member, Alex Ekweche, was arraigned before a magistrate court in Kuje over an alleged assault on a boat driver, Stephen Abuwatshea, outside his residence in Abuja. The allegations against him include abuse of office, assault, and threats to life. The lawmaker, who is representing Aba North and South Federal Constituency, pleaded not guilty to a first information report that the Nigerian police force entered against him before the court. Following the defendant's plea of innocence, the prosecution counsel, Umar, applied for a date for hearing, which the magistrate Abubakar adjourned to 8th of November 2024. Meanwhile, granted the lawmaker bill in the sum of 500,000 naira with two sureties of like sum. The sureties must reside within the jurisdiction of the court and provide their utility bills as proof of residence. It's now time to talk business. Benny Adams is here. Benny.
Thank you. Now, in a bid to protect its share of the continental markets under the AFCFTA, the Nigerian automotive sector is reaching out to investors in Morocco to ensure the expansion of local production of automotive components. This is to meet 40% rule of origin requirement of the continental market.
That is investment promotion, which we are doing now, market expansion, which we do in Nigeria through the government, and then skill acquisition, we develop skill through the NOS that we produce, that's National Occupation Standard that we produce, and then the technology transfer. You've seen what we are doing, the training center that we are doing, and then standard. We have some test centers that are under construction that we are going to finish pretty soon. All this put together are what the steps we are making to make sure that we take advantage of AFTA.
Now looking at the energy market, oil prices rebounded on Wednesday, rising more than 2% after data showed U.S. crude stocks and gasoline inventories fell unexpectedly last week on reports that OPEC Plus may delay a planned oil output increase. The U.S. imports of crude oil from Saudi Arabia fell to their lowest point last week. Looking at Brent crude futures settled up $1.43 at $72.55. And looking at the West Texas Intermediate crude, it rose to $1.04 or 2.08% to settle at $68.61. This is amidst a positive tilt in the market, as it were, looking at the tensions in the Middle East. And now taking a look at the market, talking about the Nigerian equities market at this point, amidst positively tilted market sentiment with more gainers than losers, the Nigerian equities closed the midweek session slightly down, registering its third consecutive session of losses as investors maintained their sell-offs in some shares. Looking at it now, we can see a marginal depreciation of 0.04% to settle the equities cap at 59.3 trillion naira. At the end of transaction, the all-share index now settled at 98,023.23%. Looking at the value of stocks, we have 15.3 billion. It is an appreciation compared to what we saw yesterday. A number of deals also appreciated to 10,000 plus. Now, looking at the top stocks, talking about the top streets, we have Jais Bank sitting on the top spot at 106.6 million, followed by UBA 95.9 million, as well as Chams 80.6 million, which shows that the banking stocks have done so much this week. And we have a number of gainers against the losers, about 23, and 67 equities actually remained unchanged at this particular point in time. This is it on business. Nyeri, you can take it away from here.
Many thanks, Benny, for the numbers. Let's see other news now. As young women who have broken glass ceilings by distinguishing themselves in their chosen professions across Nigeria have been recognized and honored by the First Peace magazine. Sawa Khalil Ibrahim reports that the celebration held in Abuja.
Most of these ladies come from conservative backgrounds and sometimes perceived to be backbenchers because of their mode of dressing. Alas, here are young female engineers, medical doctors, journalists, accountants, lawyers, among others, who, despite the stereotypes, graduated tops in their classes and now described as the brains behind the veils.
There was a little bit of pressure because, I was a Muslim and I was a female and I was leading, but it wasn't really a challenge. I overcame it.
As we know, these impressions are there, and the only way to counter them is to be the best versions of ourselves, to excel in whatever we do while wearing the hijab without compromising on it in any way.
As part of its first publication, As-Salam, or the Peace magazine, an Islamic publication, has chosen to honor these Muslim women who have excelled in their careers.
In Islam, education is a requirement. There's no separation between male and female. Every Muslim and every human being should put a lot of energy in education.
So you can aspire to be anything. Religion is not a barrier. And that is why we talk about inclusivity, giving opportunity to everybody from all walks of life.
The idea here is to mentor young Muslim women to be role models in the society. In Abuja, Sawa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
Now, a non-governmental organization, First Samaritan Love Foundation, says peace is a major tool in addressing food insecurity in Nigeria. The executive director of the foundation, Taklis Daspan, stated this while distributing food to residents of Jos. And the Young Adayaba Gang reports.
The exercise tagged Food Peace Drive is the second in the series. The essence is to put smiles on the faces of those who can hardly afford a meal.
Today we are distributing food free to people,
And during the process, we are still telling them to live in peace and harmony with one another, regardless of the fact, the situation we find ourselves. Nigeria is one of the best countries in the whole wide world, and that is why we are contributing our quota.
The foundation is appealing to good-spirited individuals and groups to emulate the foundation, as government alone cannot shoulder such responsibility.
Today, we are exhibiting love. Love is not just a word, but it's a doing word. And that is why today, as First Samaritan Law Foundation, we have come in mass to distribute at least 1,500 meals for people around to be able to benefit.
The exercise was carried out in different parts of the state capital, as beneficiaries commend the foundation for the gesture. First Samaritan Law Foundation has peace advocacy and empowerment as its major objective. In Jos, Indenyan and Abuja, NTA News.
We move to the Center of Excellence now, as Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund is extending its safety nets to agency banking and fintech operators through Employees Compensation Scheme, ECS, which is designed to compensate workers for injuries, diseases, or disabilities sustained in the course of their duties. Joel Kukuola reports that NSITF is deepening synergy with critical non-formal sector stakeholders to create awareness on the benefits of the ECS.
The non-formal sector of the economy encompasses about 80% of Nigeria's population. These agency banking and mobile money operators represented here are among over 2 million operators nationwide, expected to key into the Employees Compensation Scheme to secure their future in case of unforeseen circumstances. The sensitization of stakeholders in the agency banking and fintech industries with the theme enhancing agency banking operations through Employees Compensation Scheme. The general manager in charge of the informal sector at NSITF says is apt, as it will ensure protection of the industry and boost productivity of workers, also narrow the inequality gaps between the formal and non-formal sector.
Get your employees to key into the ECS, sign up for the ECS with NSITF, and automatically your employees who get injured in the course of work or work-related activities automatically get compensated.
For other stakeholders, including Director of Federal Ministry of Labour and Employment in charge of Southwest, Mienye Badejo, who represented the Minister of Labour and Employment, the Nigerian Employers Consultative Association, and the National Union of Banks Financial Union Employees, this initiative is a major turning point.
We've been on this discussion for some years, and very soon we'll be talking about the implementation of this program.
The Employees Compensation Act 2010 mandates employers to contribute 1% for the Employees Compensation Scheme to compensate workers in the event of work-related accidents. In Lagos, Joel Kukuola, NTA News.
Let's pause here. We'll be back in a bit.
TerraCube is available in beef, chicken.
Thank you for being there. Now empowering our team to lead with purpose, integrity and innovation. Together, we shape a brighter future. Against this background and in its quest to maintain excellence, the Administration and Training Directorate of the Nigerian Television Authority organized a leadership training for the senior cadre staff. Olajide Bello will tell us about it.
A leader can never be a leader if there are no...
Leadership excellence is the art of inspiring others to achieve their full potential while fostering an environment of trust, collaboration and continuous growth. This requires a blend of vision, empathy and resilience, enabling leaders to navigate challenges with confidence and clarity by prioritizing communication and actively listening to diverse perspectives. This gathering, therefore, is for exemplary leaders to cultivate a culture where every team member feels valued and motivated. Ultimately, leadership excellence is not just about achieving goals, but about nurturing future leaders and creating a legacy of positive impact within the organization and beyond.
Emotional intelligence is not just a soft skill.
It is a practical tool that enhances our communication, strengthens our resilience, and fosters respect within our teams.
With emotional intelligence, we make better decisions, we relate better with our colleagues, and at the end of the day, the organization is better for it.
To lead effectively in a volatile, uncertain, complex and ambiguous environment entails vision, understanding, clarity and agility.
Two important keys. Number one, vision. Number two, influence. Without those two things, forget leadership.
As the training wrapped up, participants left feeling inspired and equipped to foster deeper connections with their colleagues. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Let's now see what's happening in the new world as Jigawa State government resumes training of river systems after temporary stoppage of the exercise due to rain and a bid to provide permanent solution to destructive river flooding in the state. Governor Umar Namadi, represented by the Commissioner for Environment, Dr. Noura Ibrahim Kazari, was at the Gabaka village in Kafin Hausa local government area to inaugurate the resumption of the river training. Muhammad Musa Skira brings us the details.
The construction of embankments, dikes and water gates from the flood entry point at Dabi in Ringim local government to flood exit point at Wachakal village in Yobe state through Guri local government in Jigawa state is what Umar Namadi administration has been doing to address the menace of annual river flooding in the state. From the work done so far, the exercise seemed to have paid off as the last two rainy seasons, Jigawa did not experience river flooding but flash flooding like any other affected states in the country because of the excessive rainfall. There are about 70 communities with about 700,000 farmers along the stretch of Kafin Hausa parts of the Hadeja River system who are to benefit from this river training to retrieve their lost farmlands for cultivation. In the last 1.5 years, Jigawa government has dredged about 97 kilometers of the state's river system, which has helped to retrieve thousands of arable lands for cultivation of rice and wheat, among others.
In as much as there is flooding as a result of climate change, how do we survive? We desilt our rivers. We ensure that we free more land so that people can cultivate, people can farm.
We assure the communities, the government is fully committed and we shall work even within the whole year round to ensure all the critical points along that course will be addressed.
Members of the Gabaka village, among other riverine communities in Kafin Hausa local government, expressed their gratitude for the resumption of the exercise, saying that the submerged lands to be retrieved could feed the entire Hadeja Emirate. From Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
And from the new world, we head to the Joel in the savannah, as Gombe Geographic Information System, GOGIS, is working to ensure consistency with the State New Development Master Plan. Director General of GOGIS, Kabir Usman Hassan, disclosed this while on inspection of the Shehu Usman Abubakar Estate project of the state government. Emmanuel Akela reports.
The Shehu Usman Abubakar district, one of the Gombe Capital Special Development Zone projects, is on Bar 4 layout. The layout is in the city center but left undeveloped for decades.
When you have a plot here, there is no way you can build this plot. Now we are trying to reclaim those affected plots by trying to backfill some of the gully erosion and where necessary to provide drainage system.
The project includes construction of roads and provision of other infrastructures that befit modernization.
Owners of this plot have already lost hope that they are not going to use their plot. But now we are trying to relocate this 33 kVA to another location, just to leave the layout completely. Because we use a contemporary design to design this layout. Where there is a very good topography, we maintain that topography. The terrain, we are maintaining all the terrains.
Residents and motorists cannot wait to see the execution of the project, looking at the value it will add to their lives.
Our governor has made it very nice place. If you see, maybe there is a police station, there is schools that he can make it here. There is other good development that he can do it for this area.
An samu hanya wanda kusan ta zama mana shortcut
We've gotten a shorter road with this project, thereby avoiding the long bypass road. Goigis has designed and facilitated the construction of the completed 600 housing units at Shungo Gardens layout as part of the Gombe Capital Special Development Zone project. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
In other news, the place of technology in our modern world cannot be undermined. Amplifying its importance in every sphere of life is in boosting service delivery. The Federal Road Safety Corps is campaigning smart road infrastructure towards better road management to ensure safe journeys during the Ember periods. This was at the town hall and breakfast meeting organized by the Corps with the theme, Smart Road Infrastructure and Commuters' Rights to Safe Journey. Miaje has all the details.
With daily reoccurrence of road traffic crashes and carnages, resulting to loss of lives and injuries, there is the need for new initiatives and strategies, all to save lives and protect property. With the Ember period already here, high vehicular movements are expected, and in this regard, the Federal Safety Corps is now talking about smart road infrastructure to save lives.
The smart infrastructure include speed sensors, acoustic sensors, CCTV cameras, smart traffic lights, e-tolling conditions, weather monitoring system, and digital signage health cities.
Experts also emphasize the need for more synergy between the Corps and other concerned agencies, especially the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, to conduct drug tests on drivers.
Through the legislators who make laws can better understand why it is that organizations like the Federal Road Safety Corps needs to be better resourced, better funded.
Nigerians need attitudinal change. So we are encouraging the government to focus on areas of need, areas where there is population, to help reduce accidents.
The use of drone in this smart management system is very, very important and very germane. The Ember Month safety campaign should include that of the security.
The Corps Marshal says this year's Ember Month campaign will be more engaging, different to others, with stakeholders due to its one-on-one interaction with leaders of Road Transport Association and other experts. Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
This morning, Badi.
Many thanks, Yaron. All right, exactly 1 week after his appointment, new chairman of the National Sports Commission, Shehu Diko, has officially assumed office. I was at the official handover ceremony earlier today to usher in his reign.
Goodbye to Sports Ministry and a warm welcome to the returning National Sports Commission. It's a few minutes past 12 Wednesday afternoon, and here comes the former Minister of Sports Development, John Eno, for his last assignment. Shortly after that, the new man at the helm makes his arrival. Looking the part with his colleague Agbada, Babariga or 1,500, the chairman is shown to what will be his office onwards. Moments later, he reemerges to meet the waiting members of the Nigerian sports family and media, as well as the commission staff. While being grateful for the opportunity given to him by President Bola Tinubu to lead Nigerian sports, revamping the sector is not the only goal for Diko, as he plans to develop the Nigerian sports economy.
We have to reset our thinking and our focus. We have to leave the mindset and the fixation with competitions and winning medals and winning cups and come back and fix our development. Because once you fix the development and everything is working, then the medals will come. So everybody have to understand that what we are here to do is not to come and be telling people that we have won gold medals, we have won this, we have won that. That is actually not the focus.
Shehu Diko, a renowned sports administrator and consultant, was appointed as the chairman of the National Sports Commission on the 23rd of October by President Tinubu, following the scrapping of the Ministry of Sports Development. And with the handover, work has begun officially for Diko, who many believe has what it takes to turn around the fortunes of Nigerian sports.
You can't look further than a choice like him. So I think he's really a perfect fit, and I believe he had that great connect. He's quite organized. He knows best where the shoes pains the most, and is someone who was very much instrumental to even the whole restructuring and also even setting up this template for the NSC.
Look at England now, for example, now that sports bringing so much money into the system. So want to do that, want to bring that such templates that you have in England and bring it to Nigeria, where we have, instead of depending only on oil, on gas, we can also depend on sports to improve our economy. So I think it's a welcome development from the Mr. President.
Of immediate attention to the new NSC boss will be the structural organization of the Commission, seamless transition from the Sports Ministry to the Sports Commission, and a possible amendment of the NSC Act to align with international best practices.
All right, that will be our beat when it comes to sports. Let's now return to Yara.
Many thanks, Buddy. And of course, that's our package on News Extra tonight. Many thanks for being a part of it. Enjoy your night.